Armand always had one favorite sentence. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. His unfinished tasks followed him like a shadow. Lessons left half done. Projects only started. In dreams that lived only in his mind. He wasn't lazy, not really. In fact, he was often busy, but not with the right things. He watched movies, scrolled on social media, or made so many plans that there was no time left to act. Every night, he promised himself, tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow always came like today, with the same confusion, the same fear, the same escape from starting. Until one day, something simple happened. Armand went to an old building to renew some papers. In the corner of the hall, an old man was sitting, and above him, a wall clock had stopped, its hands stuck on one number. Armand smiled and said, "That clock hasn't worked for a long time." The old man answered softly, "No, my son, it's not broken. It just stayed there, just like many people." Those words hit Armand's mind like a quiet slap. The old man continued, "Most people think their problem is laziness, but it's really fear. Fear of starting, fear of not being perfect, fear of what if I try and fail?" Then he looked straight at Armand and said, "You're not afraid of failure. You're running away from not trying yourself." Armand stayed silent. The old man said one last thing. No life is built with tomorrow, only with today. That night, Armand didn't make a big decision. He didn't give himself a strange promise. He didn't start a revolution. He just did one small thing. The project he had delayed for months, he worked on it for only 5 minutes. And something strange happened. 5 minutes became 15, 15 became an hour, and after a long time, he fell asleep with a feeling of movement. He wasn't successful yet. He wasn't perfect. But at last, he had started. Days passed. Things were still hard, but he no longer ran away. He had learned something. Successful people don't start because they have motivation. They get motivation because they start. And now, his usual sentence had changed. I'll do it now, even if it's not perfect.
The light evening rain had made the city wet, and the smell of damp soil was in the air. Peter walked among the people, a man who for years had lived like others, not like himself. He bought his clothes based on others' opinions. He chose his job because of his family. Even his smile seemed planned. It was as if someone else was controlling his life. People said, "This is better. He did it. This suits you." He accepted it. But inside, he always felt pressure. Not from work, from playing a role every day. Sometimes he thought, if I am gone tomorrow, will anyone miss the real me or only the role I played? One evening, while walking home from work with a busy mind, he saw something that stopped his thoughts. In the city square, a young man with strange clothes was sitting with headphones on. He was singing loudly, moving his feet and laughing. People around whispered, "This is stupid. Look at his face. He has no manners." Peter stopped. He expected the young man to feel ashamed, to become quiet, to give up, but he did not. Instead, He sang louder. He laughed freely. He started to move. He did not care about anyone. Peter understood at that moment. The problem was not this young man. The problem was himself. He said to himself, "I have been afraid of these looks for years, and he does not even see them." That night, Peter stood in front of the mirror and looked at his face. He saw a man who had put his life behind so others could go ahead. He whispered, "Peter, how many years have you postponed your life?" The next morning, he wore the clothes he liked, not the ones that seemed right. He walked to work. He listened to his favorite music. When he needed to say no, he said it. With fear, but he said it. What happened? Nothing special happened. No disaster. No big problem. No end of the world. Only one thing changed. The pressure was gone. Walking no longer felt like running away. He understood that fear is big only in the mind. In real life, it is smaller than we think. From that day on, Peter did not live for people, not because of hate, but because he understood that living that way meant slowly losing himself. And whenever he doubted, he remembered the young man in the square, someone who knew one thing well: living for yourself, not for people's opinions.
Before we dive into the final story, take a moment to subscribe and support the channel. It helps me bring you even more stories you'll enjoy.
Sometimes an important truth in life is right in front of us, but we are too busy with our worries to see it. This is the story of a boy in a coastal town, a boy who thought the waves were his enemies, until he learned that maybe the waves were not the real problem. Maybe he was. Sit down, relax, and let this small but meaningful tale enter your mind like a soft sea breeze. In a coastal city where the smell of salt and seaweed always filled the streets, there was a boy named Sam. Sam loved making kites, but he had the strangest problem in the world. He was afraid of everything. His fear stuck to his mind like glue. If the wind became weak, he said, "My kite will fall." If a crow flew in the sky, he said, "Oh no, it will hit my kite." If the kite string got a little tangled, he said, "This can never be fixed." Because of this, most of the time he didn't even fly his kite. He just sat in a corner of the rooftop and watched. One evening, an old man everyone called the Old Explorer, a man who had been a sailor many years ago, saw him. He came and sat next to Sam. The old man asked softly, "Why don't you fly it?" Sam sighed. "Everything is a problem. If the wind gets weak, if the string gets tangled, every time there is a new trouble." The old man smiled, like someone who has just remembered the code to an old treasure box. He said, "Come, I want to show you something." He took Sam to the pier, where small boats moved up and down on the waves. He showed Sam two boats. One was a small handmade wooden boat, old and light. With every wave, it jumped up and down and almost fell over. The other was a big boat with a strong body. It pushed the waves aside calmly and moved forward with confidence. The old man said, "Problems are like waves. Waves are always there, small or big. Look at this small boat. It shakes with every wave because it is small. But the big boat does not care about the waves because its capacity is bigger than the waves." Sam looked at the shaking boats. The old man continued, "Every time you are afraid, you make yourself small. But when you grow your heart and mind, the waves stay the same. They just cannot control you anymore." These words lit a small light inside Sam's mind. The next morning, Sam decided to be his own boat, not the small shaking one, but the big one. He picked up his kite and said, "All right, come on, waves." The string got tangled. Sam stopped, took a breath, and untangled it. The wind became weak. He said, "Okay, I'll run faster," and he ran. A crow flew near his kite. Sam laughed. "You go your way." For the first time, his kite reached the sky, so high that even its shadow looked small. Sam felt something shift inside him, like a heavy weight leaving his chest. That night, as he sat on the rooftop watching his kite move softly in the air, he whispered, "Waves are always there, but I can grow bigger." And from that night on, every time Sam saw a problem, he first asked himself, "Am I the small boat or the big boat?" And amazingly, the problems were the same problems, but Sam was no longer the boy who shook with every wave. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. These stories help you grow your English skills and your mind. Subscribe and join us to make progress step by step. Stay tuned for more stories.